And I wish your videos were on. You don't have to be dressed so nice. We're here to have a discourse, just to talk about the work that we do. I feel like it's that year that we really need to be honest and transparent about the work that we do as teachers. I feel like many times we teachers are so overwhelmed. Like there are so many things bottled up, but we don't want to say anything because we don't want to offend anybody. Schools are we are working in private organizations, so we don't want to step on anyone's toes because we need our jobs to be intact. So there are many things I want to say, but we're always very careful not to offend anyone, right? We're always very careful not to offend anyone. And I really want us to have that conversation. I really want us to have that heart-to-heart conversation where we can really pour out our hearts. We have issues that the education sector is facing, and we want those things to be worked on. Can we begin to talk about those things? If you were the Minister of Education, what are those things that you know that you work on? If you were the Commissioner for Education in a particular state, what are those things that you know you will work on, like in your tenure? Okay, so those are the things that I really want us to talk about. I really want us to just say it the way it is, not mincing words, not trying to hide behind the facade that, oh, I'm a teacher, I'm meant to be an angel, I'm not meant to offend anybody. So we can begin to write those thoughts down, those things that have been bottled up over time. But before we start, I just want to applaud every teacher here. Each and every one of you have been amazing. The fact that you chose to do this profession alone means that you are a great person, you are an amazing person. And the fact that you are still in the profession till now means that you are a great and amazing person. The fact that you choose to work on yourself, you choose to build yourself, means that, again, you are a great and an amazing person. And you can just give yourself an applause, just wash yourself with love and just say, oh, I'm doing great, I'm happy, and I'm grateful that I'm doing this work, that I am here in this profession, that I am a teacher, that I am changing lives, I am transforming lives for the best. I applaud myself. I'm applauding myself. Myself. God bless me. So I'm going to do that for myself, and you can do that for yourself as well, because the work that we do is not easy. It is not easy. Even for me, as not just teaching people. Recently, I started teaching ESL, English as a second language, and I'm teaching adults. And I'm like, wow. It's not easy. You have to put yourself to the work, you have to put yourself to training, you have to really immerse yourself in a whole lot of knowledge, gaining and all of those things, transforming yourselves first, which is a lot of work as well. So again, I say I applaud you. Well done, well done, well done, well done, well done. Well done. Again, I say well done. So we can begin the discourse. And the reason why we're having the transformative work of teachers, because recently I was, again, reading the UNESCO Futures of Education, and chapter 5 just popped up, and the title of chapter 5 is the transformative work of teachers. And again, I want to applaud Praise for doing that as a project work in the Skill Teacher Academy. If you don't know the Skill Teacher Academy, please visit thefreshlookafrica.com to know more about it. And because it became more relevant whilst reading it, what I was seeing there became more relevant and more relatable, because I'm now more into the profession. Almost, this is already my 4th year in the profession, like officially teaching for 4 years. And I'm like, this work that we are doing, I don't want the reward in heaven. I want my reward here on earth. And we talked about a whole lot of things, but basically the anchors were collaboration and support, collaboration and support, collaboration and support, and having a community, teaching communities for collaboration and all of those things. And I could so relate because of the work we do at the Skill Teacher Academy now. So I could relate a lot. I'm like, I feel like there are many other things that teachers want to talk about, but they can't because that support is not there and that community is not there. And that is why the Fresh Look Africa is there, really, just to have that community. And honestly, here we'll also talk about, how, even as a community, how we can take things to the next level, how we can begin to take things to the next level. Okay, so I grouped our discussion in 5 different areas that we're going to talk about in probably the next 30 minutes on things that I feel like we should begin to talk about, things that I feel like we need to speak on. And if it relates with you, you can just unmute your mic, please. We're having a discourse. I'm not teaching anybody. I'm not training. When you say a discourse, it's a discussion. It's just a formal way for saying discussion. So I grouped it into 5 for us to, have a conversation on. And the first one there is the place of collaboration and support, which I've already mentioned. The second one is curricula and pedagogy. The third one is teacher and educational research. That's teacher research and educational research. The fourth one is enthusiasm about subject matter. The fifth one is policies guiding the teaching profession. Those are the 5 areas, and I'm going to, how am I going to paste it? So I want to see if I can paste it. I'll try to paste it here as well. So those are the areas that I feel like, that I took out of chapter 5 of UNESCO's Future of Education. And this transformative work of teachers that we want to look at, is, and I'm going to read something out of that particular chapter, the first page, the quote there. It said, this is Wei Ming Tu, Humanity and Self-Cultivation, 1996. I'm sure it's from a paper. The teacher does not necessarily have privileged access to the sagely truth. Like his students, he is in the process of becoming what he ought to be. The teacher does not necessarily have privileged access to the sagely truth. That is old wisdom, wisdom of old. Like his student, he's in the process of becoming what he ought to be. A teacher is not, we don't know everything, really. We don't know everything. We don't know, I've put it in the chat for you to see. We don't know every single thing. We are in the process of also becoming who we should be. We are also on the path of working and achieving our visions. We have our goals. We don't have our things together, really. We don't have ourselves together. Some people are just winging it. Some people are just like, come miracles, and anything that wants to happen, let it happen. Anything that wants to happen, let it happen. So some people are on that stage. They're in that place already where they are literally almost giving up. But I want us to see the work that we do, appreciate the work that we do, and let's have that conversation. What part of teaching do you feel like you should appreciate yourself for? That's the first things first, before we even dive into what should be, what is currently, what are you doing in your profession that you're like, nah, I am on point. I am on point. Like, what are these things? Can we share? That is correct. The classroom is a transformation room for both parties, students and teachers. Yes. Yes. So what are those things? Can we share? Who wants to go first? You can unmute your mic. What are those things? Okay, Aderonke wants to go first. You can unmute your mic.
Okay. So I think the most recent, there are more than that, but then the most recent is the intentionality that goes into making the kids what they need to be. So for instance, I noticed that, some of my kids don't read. They don't even do their homework and all of that. And it really bothered me. I really, really thought about it, trying to mold them into better students, train them how to read. Even when I had to show them tough love, I did. I think that, because I'm such a softie. So having to show them tough love is something that wasn't even easy for me. By tough love, I mean having to give them tasks, not looking at them when they are frowning or anything, or having to deny them some things that I know. Okay, for example, if it's sports time and they did not finish their homework in the middle of sports, they will get sent to their class because I know that would really hurt them, and another day they would not want to miss out on sports. So I think that part of intentionally building them up to become better humans, because I know I would not have to continue doing this, just to imbibe that culture in them, is something I'm really proud of myself for. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing the intentionality that goes into the work that we do. The intentionality, being very intentional, regardless of how our students are going to feel at the end of the day, because we know that we just have to do that. Yes, who else wants to share? Thank you for sharing, Adironke. Who else wants to speak on who wants to give themselves an accolade? Yes, Mr. Babatunde, please go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, Nigerian teachers. So thank you so much again for a platform such as this. I really wish that I have some of my colleagues join in, even though I've shared, and I expect that some of them would come in. So my part is I'll be picking the first area of discourse, and that's a place of collaboration and support. One thing that really gets me sad in this profession, even right now, is the quality of collaboration that we seem to be getting amongst ourselves as teachers. When you're trying to arrange things or rearrange things, and then your colleagues are trying to scatter, if I'll use the word. So I don't know, since I started teaching, especially when I started becoming class managers, somehow, I don't know how my bosses would do it, but they always want to give me the most difficult class. To be the class manager. And of course, I believe one of the reasons is because they believe that I can be very good at reorientating the student and then helping to become better. But even while you're doing that, some of your colleagues will just come in and then destroy their psychology, and then it makes it very easy, very hard for you to do your job. And I would say that I'm facing that presently. I remember last week, I walked up to my vice principal administration to lay some complaints. Yeah, they gave me a difficult class again, what they perceive to be the difficult class. And then, like I told her that my class or my student remains the best so far right now in the school. But one thing I just realized again is that some of my colleagues will just come in again and make things worse, destroy them psychologically, and then I have to wait or look for a time, maybe during break time, to sit down and then begin to reorientate them, remotivate them again, and all that. So it's really hard. So even sometimes when you bring certain initiative that we could work with, I remember before we resumed for this session, I drew a plan, and then a plan that will work both in the classroom or of course outside the classroom, that will also help the school to achieve its overall goals. And then I didn't really get that much support, that I just had to jettison it. Even some that I wanted to do as a teacher myself, to also help my students to become better. But because somehow the school doesn't really believe in it, or should I just use the word, because the school just want to continue with the status quo. I don't want to really advance because they are not open enough to see the advantages attached to those initiatives. They just kill the dream, and then you just need to just drag yourself along with that is how we used to do it mindset. And then, of course, if you're that teacher that the students are the center of everything you do, you get so pained, and then moving on becomes so tedious. But one way or the other, we'll just push little by little, and then just keep praying that they'll be open enough to. Okay, one of those things was to, yes, so let me just mention, Frederick.
Yeah.
There was once, so he's my friend, and then there was a particular time we were having some issues with some of our students, going on TikTok, uploading some videos, using the school uniforms and the rest of that, which was against the school rule. And then I saw that a lot of these students are misusing this gadget. And then I met with Frederick, and then met my bosses to introduce a digital productivity club in the school. But they frowned at it. They frowned at it, even though I tried to tell them the advantages that are attached to it, how we could help them to be better with the gadgets. And, so, sometimes when you even give them assignments that warrant them to go read further online, they're like, no. They don't want the student going to that. So it had to be from the textbook or blah, blah, blah. You just see that and think again, how do I really enforce change and then make the students become global teachers like we used to, sound at TST and the Fresh Look Africa. But then, we just need to keep trying. Sometimes I just sit down and just get tired of everything. But as teachers, we can't get tired. We just need to keep doing our bit, no matter how small it is, and then pray that it becomes big one day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you for sharing. But
let me stop
also,
for now.
before I go into what you have said, I want you to give yourself an accolade first. So what work have you done so far in ensuring that, that transformative work still goes on in your classroom or in your school?
Okay. Yeah, my classroom is always very distinct. Very distinct. I would say that by the grace of God, my classroom is that class that students will always want to attend. And even if maybe I'm few seconds late, you see them running to my class to call me or to help me with my laptop so that we could start the class on time. Because I would employ digital tools in having my classes. I could use Kahoot. I could use share videos, because one thing I tell them is I'm not teaching you to just go sit for an exam and write. I'm teaching you to understand and then to be able to compete with global students. So that orientation alone helps them to also want to be a part of my class.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that. And of course, the initiative I'm trying to introduce, I'm not backing down. I've been writing proposals upon proposals, and then just pray that it just keep working. But as far as my own classrooms are concerned, my own subject is concerned, yeah, I would say that I'm making progress.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing. The part of using technology to enhance your students' learning is very, very key. And I want to say well done, Mr. Babatunde, well done Aderonke for sharing so far. And when we get to talk the discourse part in about 3 minutes, I'll take a look into what Mr. Babatunde has said as well. So who wants to make any contribution? So when someone is talking and you can relate, just type it in the chat like, I relate to this. For Mr. Babatunde, I know many people can relate in some schools that are always so stereotypical. They want to do it the same way, status quo, what has been, no change, no, Yes. So who else wants to share? Just give yourself an accolade. What have you done? What so we are speaking on the transformative work of teachers. So what transformative work have you done in your classroom that has worked for your students, has worked for you? You have peace of mind, and you see yourself doing that constantly and continuously in the nearest future. Who wants to share next? Just one person. You can also share in the chat. All these as it was in the beginning school. Yes. You can also share in the chat the work that you have done in the past. Who wants to share again? You can just wait. Okay, actually someone wants, you can unmute your mic.
Hey, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon,
everyone. I would like to share my experience in one school that I just joined because I changed the location. And so I joined another school, which I'm teaching currently. All right. So when the session started, and I was opportunity to meet the pupils for the first time. So some of the things I've studied the school, and I say they are like they give rules. They have school rules, classroom rules. They give like almost 10, 15. So when I've studied everything and seen my pupils, my students, I told them that, well, I don't have, I was given biology and chemistry to be handled, and I was using the laboratory. So most times they come to the laboratory for some of their lectures. So when we started, I told them that I wouldn't be giving you classroom rules or school rules like the regular one you've been known, but in my class, no distraction. That's the only thing that I know that I want. So when we started, and I also told them for my class, we'll be having presentation. They were like, SS1, SS2, how we're going to do this presentation, as I explained to them, is nothing much. The subject we'll be having next week will give you the topic. You go through over it, search through the internet, watch videos about it, and come on Monday. So first thing, our first period for the week, you are going to tell me about the topic. You explain it very well, and I will give you a mark for it. So after explaining everything, well, there were some of them found that they don't know how to do it, and I explained to them that they should calm down. It's nothing of such. So I give them an example, which I showed myself during my presentation in master's program that I was doing because I have the video during my defense. So I showed them, and they're like, okay, well, they can relate to it. So they said they will give it a try. So this following week on Monday, when they came, even to my surprise, even before the class, they were the one claiming to come around. I'm prepared. I want to do my presentation. So as in, I was surprised the way they did it for the first time. For the first time, even some of the teachers were like, they like this development, they like it, and you'll be feeling yourself now. So along the line, I even I'm supposed to do some explanations. Even as I was explaining to them, they're already catching it. Yeah, yes, I got this. I read this. Yes, that's true. I read. So it was more explanatory to them, and as the class was really fun, and they were able to learn under free conditions. So they always look forward to my classes because I just joined them. So there was one day because when I joined the other teachers in the school, I think they still do handwritten lesson, and I told the principal of the school that if I will be permitted, I won't be able to write. So I'm trying my lesson note. I would prefer typing it. So he agreed that no problem. So when the student, when they see me teaching them with my laptop, my phone, they'll say, "Well, I like your style. This is a new development, sir. I like you. This is a technology. You are technology inclined." So even the children, they were giving me accolades already, and they were even saying, "You're different from other teachers here. They do this, they do that." I was like, "It's fine. It's a stage where you have to upgrade yourself and do something new." So they only look, henceforth now, they look forward to my classes, they make classes fun and so many things. So since then, I've been feeling myself like this new environment, I'm going to bring a change around you. And
yes, yes, yes. That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun, for sharing. New innovation, pushing your students beyond the boundaries or their limits where they feel like this is what we can handle, this is what we can do, but you know that your students can handle more. Just pushing your students, even with new innovation, even what other teachers are not used to doing that. I remember even recently, but before I talk about what I remember recently, let me read. In fact, just recently, our new principal walked up to me after our morning briefing to shake hands with me, and he told me that I just wanted to congratulate you personally. Your thirst for personal and professional development is inspiring to me. You motivate me. Amazing. Amazing. Me too. I'm like writing, who still writes lesson notes in this age? I'm like, you need help. Hi, Omotoma. I love you. Thank you. Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Imagine the NCCE team asking lecturers to write and submit. We need help. We need help. So as I was saying, I remember just recently because I just started my position as a support ESL instructor, apart from the work that I do with my organization. And so I had a test, a practical test where they asked me to write a lesson plan. Those in TSTA, you know how I write my lesson plan because you've seen my sample, yeah? And so I didn't get any feedback. I didn't get any feedback on the lesson plan. Now, I'm glad that, hi, Blessing, and I call him Egwonkule, he's here. They know that I did not like writing. I was always the last person to submit my lesson plan because I did not like lesson plan. Those in TSA will know. I think I mentioned it. I did not like writing lesson plan. Now I breed lesson plan because of what I do. It doesn't take me time to write lesson plans anymore because I do it my style and the way I envision my class surely and just write my lesson plan. And so that particular don't worry, now that you're in TST, you love writing lesson plans because you learn the sweet way of writing lesson plans. And because you see, I don't know, you cannot hate lesson plans. Take this sample, take my sample and use it. So I got they told me to write a lesson for level. So here for ESL, there are different levels, up to 10 benchmarks. And some people they move from level 1 to 2 to 3. So I was meant to write a lesson plan for level 3, teaching them on visiting the doctors, like having a doctor's appointment. So you need to write like keywords, and it had to be listening and speaking. I'm like, okay, great, amazing. And so I just started research. So the first thing you want to do before lesson plan is research. What are those things? And because it's somewhat new to me, I've never been an ESL instructor. So I had to start making my research. Okay, so what are those things that I feel like just to know just to have like a fictitious needs assessment for them. And so I went about, one, they gave you an hour. Like for the first 20, 30 minutes, I was researching, putting my thoughts together, and then I started writing my lesson plan and I finished and I submitted. So I already had a job in the organization, but they needed a supply instructor. I was like, fine, no problem. And so I got into work, my first day of work, and everyone was like, oh, so yeah, the Adora that Shakram was talking about. So the head of the ESL department, his name is Mr. Shakram. He's Indian. But he's really good. He has been in ESL for like 30 years. And so he was like, so you're the one, oh my God, we've heard so much about you. I'm like, you heard more, like, I don't know. He wasn't there for my first interview. He was just there for my second interview for the ESL position. And then, I was like, what's going on? Then I finally met, there's only one Nigerian that works in the organization. I'm the second Nigerian to work in the organization, and more people are joining us from today. I'm actually meant to, okay, no, it's not today. Wow. Okay, from today. And so I was like, amazing. Please, what have you heard? It was like, wow, that's your interview. It's your interview. Oh, I said, okay. So the first time I was going to teach ESL, the head of the ESL department was like, the night before, he sent me like a reading to teach. And he was like, you know what? Can you use your lesson plan, the one that you sent? Can you use that to teach instead? I'm like, sure, why not? I'll do that. Then the next day when I saw him, I was like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He was like, your lesson plan was really good. It was so good. I'm like, okay. I was like, this is really great feedback. And the amazing part of it was I had never taught before, but that lesson plan really helped me in my first class because I knew how to take them from what they had done moving into, because they had a different teacher before me. So I needed to know. And we are talking to adults that don't know how to speak English. It's not like you're teaching a child that is still learning English. They already have an established language in their head. So you're trying to teach them English. It's quite difficult to do that. And so I had to start taking them step by step. And it was amazing. I found myself doing new things that I never tried before, even some things that were not in my lesson plan, but I had that in my class. By the time I was having my second class with them on reading and writing and all of this, I found myself doing things that they had never done, like they had never done before with any other instructor. And I brought this into the class. So it was very, very amazing to know that this Adora that did not like lesson plan before now loves writing lesson plans, and they are effective. I don't just write any lesson plan, effective lesson plans. So that's my own recent success story of transformative work, really ensuring that my students are learning, even though I have to repeat. So I teach them for 3 hours, so 6 hours in 2 days, but we are learning the same thing, but in different ways. Those in TST can understand it, will relate more. Okay, let me read your comments. Someone says, I want to be like you when I grow up, because I say, no, you can't. Lesson plan. If you cannot give me face. I have a sample, and that's what helped me like it a bit, but it's still not my favorite thing to do. I understand. Having lesson plan is always very interesting now as you see your class before it happens. Yes, thank you. I guess school templates is making it difficult to create a lesson plan. Most definitely, yes. If a school has a template that is once somehow, it's always difficult. I think, trust me, some will even tell you that you must do it in a certain way. Yes, step 1, step 2, step 3. How many teachers even follow the lesson plan? We just boil it. Yeah, many times, sometimes we forget what we written in the lesson plan. It's what we want to teach on from our slides. Can I get your lesson plan by email? It's not open to people that are not in the Skill Teacher Academy. When you join the Skill Teacher Academy for 3, it will be available to you for free. I'll give it to you. Interesting. Blessing, yes. So that's my colleague. Like, what is that all together? Hi, for those people that are just joining in, we are currently having a discussion. Hi, Shane. Happy birthday, Shane. Yes, today is Shane's birthday. Was it today or yesterday? Any day, but even whether yesterday or today, you're still in the hospital when they gave birth to you, so it's still your birthday. So let's wish him a happy birthday. His name is Evangel Shane Ubebo. He's the one there. He's this person. This name that starts from E. Yeah, so let's wish him a happy birthday. He's my very dear friend. And I celebrate you. And this person that you're seeing here is a big man. He's the guy in his school. He's a very big man. Awesome. Yeah, so we're talking about the transformative work of teachers, and we sent in 5 discourse areas, and you can take any. But Mr. Babatunde has done a great job in talking about or in speaking on the place of support and collaboration. And so I'm going to be sharing the areas of discourse again. And so if you want to speak, you could just raise up your hand or unmute your mic to speak. These are the areas of discourse we're going to be talking about, because we also, now that we're giving ourselves accolades, we know that we are doing something right. We also want to look at some areas that we feel like we are lagging in, and then what we can do as well. Mr. Babatunde has told us about teachers are always going back to the status quo, always going back to, they want to do it the same way. And his solution is we keep moving, we keep going, we keep doing. And the truth is, until some teachers begin to see results, they will not want to take any new innovation. And innovations are like that. There are people that will quickly grab it. There are people that are laggers. They call them those ones that lag. So they will be the last set of people to take it. Like after people have used it and they've seen that it's working, it will give them the result that they need, then they will now adapt that new technology or innovation. So who else wants to go? We can also look at Curricula and Pedagogy. And one thing he talked about is that collaboration and support. I think that support is very important. When a new teacher is bringing something new, or when a new teacher is bringing something new, or when a teacher is bringing something new to the environment, some people are always very adamant. They don't want to support. Oh my God, we need to help, why not try it first? So that's a problem as well that we have seen. And we need to begin to do better, actually. So who else wants to speak? Curricula and Pedagogy, Teacher and Educational Research, Enthusiasm about Subject Matter, Policies Guiding the Teaching Profession. Just 2 minutes and then we are done. Just 2 minutes. Once you see me, once I cough, just know that 2 minutes is up. Some are not interested in your innovative ideas. And they become so excited about it without knowing it's old school already. I'm telling you. Awesome. Who wants to speak? Who wants to go? Curricula and Pedagogy. Please, this is a discourse. I'm not teaching. We are all sharing. I'm just hosting. It's just the Fresh Look Africa Zoom that is here. I'm talking about my experiences as well. You're talking about your experiences. I hope we'll get, yes, you'll get the replay session. It's live on YouTube. So anytime you're free, you can go on YouTube to watch it as well. Who wants to speak? Or are we done? Are we done discussing? Are we free? Should we go? Who wants to speak? What problems have you seen in Curricula and Pedagogy? What problems have you seen in Teacher and Educational Research? Or what do you feel like we could do about those? Okay, lesson plan is good. In fact, for beginning teachers, or when you need to change subjects to teach. But where I begin to wonder is someone in 30, 35 years in teaching and still write lesson notes and lesson plan? It's a very deep question. Someone requested that you. Oh, read comments on YouTube. Oh, sorry, I didn't know people were on YouTube. Okay, most of the points coming up seem to apply more to the older children at secondary level. Can we have more ideas on how to work with toddlers and elementary learners? I wish you were on Zoom as well, but you can drop your. So right now we are not making any contributions. We are just talking about our experiences. We are speaking to our experiences. For me, currently I'm talking of adults, those in the adults education space, but I've taught in elementary, and there are issues that are faced. So if there are issues that you faced and you have a solution to, you can drop that. Or if there's something that you've done that has been effective for you with working with in preschool or elementary, you can drop that in the comments and I'm going to pick it up from there. But right now we are moving on to the discourse, where we are going to talk about how the problems that we are facing in those discourse areas, and I'm going to drop them here in YouTube chats as well. I'm going to drop it here in YouTube chats. So you can see it in the chats. The place of collaboration and support, sorry, it's muffled. Curriculum and pedagogy, teacher and educational research, enthusiasm about subject matter policies, subject matter policies guiding the teaching profession. Okay, someone is saying, oh wow, so okay, thank you, Nehemiah, thank you. Nehemiah, is this Nehemiah I know, like the only Nehemiah I have in my life? Just say yes. Hi Nehemiah. Hi bro. I'm buzzing you on WhatsApp now. Hi, how are you? Okay, let me read. Sorry, I can't speak where I am now. Okay, one positive thing I did to my students some years back was building self-confidence in them. I made them to understand that they can write their exams. They can write their exams alone without cheating. LOL. Most of them say, Mr. Nehemiah, this school is not possible. So I challenged them. I took Agric and Geography senior classes. First, I made them to write tests every period, 5 minutes to revision, 5 minutes test, 5 minutes revision, 5 minutes. Okay. I made them to understand that all written tests adds up, so that alone made them sit up. During their SSC, the school management called me. I was angry with me for not assisting the students. I made them to understand that I have done my work by having extra classes, but cut the long story short, I left the school for my MSc because they refused me schooling and teaching. But when the WAEC and ECO results came out, they were begging for you to return because of the excellent results of the students in my subject without assistance. Oh, amazing. Nice one. Yes, we can begin to motivate our students. For those of us in formative assessments, we can see the importance of having formative assessments in our schools. So that's the place of that can fall under curricula and pedagogy, right? Which assessment falls under as well. So looking at that, we want to see how we can begin to create effective assessments for our students, right? Thank you so much for sharing. Amazing. What else? Who else wants to speak? I feel like educational research is something we should begin to do. Yes, Mr. Babatunde, please go ahead.
Okay, I'm here again.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you for speaking.
Okay, let me talk on the second one. So very recently, I started to reorientate my student, the entire student, on a particular mindset, which took a space in Nigeria for a while, and that is school is scam. And then I just made him to understand. I think something prompted that, and then we just started to discuss. And I was helping him to understand that it's not school that is scam, but the system that is a scam. So it's not school, because the school will continue to be a place of transformation and reformation. But if the system is not right, it will make the school be like it's a scam. So if you look at the Nigerian educational system, maybe from my area and some other places, we realize that the system is just so faulty. If you look at the curricula, the way it's been arranged, too much content, too much unrelated content, too much information that are not just useful. So we just keep bombarding these students with so much. And even when the curricula that has been, put together by the planners get to the hands of the teachers, delivery now also becomes faulty. And then the pressure on schools, on teachers to make sure to finish their scheme of work that is so voluminous that some will, if you look at some scheme of work to end in week 11, and then you expect them to just use 1 week for revision, and then exam follows and the rest of that. And then you have so much activities in the school that you may not be able to finish, but they still want to pressure you. And because of that, I've seen some colleagues, not just in my school alone, bombarding the student with notes upon notes upon notes, and they will tell you that after all, my boss will only check the student note to see how far I have gone. So that is like a measure. It's like a measure to know what the teacher is doing. But I fail to realize that it is the explanation you do, it is the discussion, the class discussions that you do, the assessment that really is a measure on what you're doing, not the notes. So you see teachers bombarding notes, giving 3 weeks notes altogether without even going back to touch them. And even some, the notes, the note that they know that they can't cover in school, they give as assignment. So students will just go and just form notes, and they will end up not even coming back to it at all. They will call those note assignments. And then they will end up not even coming back to it at all. So it's really tedious. Sometimes I don't blame the teachers, because the kind of pressure that they get to finish up with their scheme is just so much that they become so overwhelmed and just look for shortcuts to just, go about their job. But for me, wow.
I feel you on that one. I feel you on that note part.
That is fight several times. And then I tell my colleagues also that you don't have to make your note. The note you're giving to the student actually is your summary. They have textbooks, they have other resources you could give to them. Now, I told one of my colleagues about flipped classroom recently, and he said he had not even. I was like, what? You know what about? And then we just started to talk. And then I said, see, there are so many ways you can actually go about this job. You do it well, you do quality job, and then you get result. But when you're just so stuck to the old way of doing things, you won't get too much result. So I feel so much that we want to give to these students that are just so irrelevant. You have subject like you have computer, you have ICT, and you have data processing.
This is just data processing. That God have mercy on me. It's a very useless subject though. Data processing. Because I thought it's. I'm like, what's this?
They call it trade subject. It's just annoying. A student doing computer, a student doing ICT, a student doing data processing.
What's the difference between ICT and computer? I don't understand. That computer is annoying me.
I don't understand. We also have accounting, we have financial accounting, we have bookkeeping.
What's it?
It's just so annoying. So sometimes when I just see that, I just look at these things like, seriously, what is going on? What is going on?
I feel you, Mr. Babatunde. Thank you so much. And one thing that I really want to also say is that we underestimate our students. That's a problem. We underestimate the capacity or the abilities of our students, and that's why every time we want to give notes, oh, you must have your notes, oh, we must finish our notes, because we feel like if our students don't have their notes, they are going to fail. So we underestimate our children. Is it something that I had to write down somewhere in a journal? I'm like, do not underestimate your students. I was creating a curriculum for my position where I currently work. And I saw myself taking some things out. I'm like, nah, they can't understand this. I'm like, Adora, do not underestimate your students. Who told you that they can't understand? Who told you that they won't be able to connect to what you're saying? It's just speaking in their language. That's all. You just have to speak in their language for them to understand. But you don't, if you're teaching racism, anti-racism to a child who told you that they cannot understand anti-racism, it's just the way you teach it to them. And I had to every time I have to catch myself. No. Awesome. Yes. Omabala Koka wants to share. Please, you can unmute yourself. And then we have Omotola and then Blessing.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for this session. I'm going to be very, very quick. First, I'll take it from the last point you made, because I teach ICT, computer, data processing, economics. I don't think it's fair to say it's useless. The problem is with the curriculum planners. Now, if you check Cambridge IGCSE, they have computer studies or computer science separately, and they have ICT separately. And you'll find that some of the things we should be teaching in data processing are related to database. And at the end of the day, the children should be able to work as database administrator. And database is another kettle of fish entirely. So it's usually not practical enough. And if you look at the computer studies side of things, it tilts more to the programming aspect of things. If you get what I'm talking about. So there are branches of ICT. So the curriculum planners, instead of them to clearly distinguish or differentiate what they want to achieve with this thing, they just modeled everything up. And you find some of the kids that learned in computer science from GSS1 through SS2 doing the same thing in SS3. It doesn't make any sense. In fact, teaching history of computer for about 5 weeks when you can take care of it in a single week, that's curriculum planning. It's a problem. And I think when it comes to how you teach it as a teacher is for you to identify what the whole thing is about and redesign your own curriculum, do your own scheme, and give them what you believe they should know. That's one. Then secondly, because I joined in late, Babatunde is a friend. He actually shared this link on the status, so that was why I joined in. But I had to take some time to understand what it is we're doing. But I would love for us to also put into context what is happening in different schools. There are schools where examination malpractice is a thing. And over time, it doesn't matter how well a teacher prepares a lesson plan, how well he teaches, what goes on in that examination room is what the school is about. And that's a big demotivating, factor that we need to also talk about. If we know there are schools where they do not engage in examination malpractice, some of these things will work where you plan your lessons well, you do all of this. But one of my biggest concern has always been what happens in the secondary school is you get to SS3, you write WAEC and NECO. That's the truth. That's the reality. And you write TME. So if WAEC, NECO, UTME is where we are going, then that lesson plan has little or nothing to do with it. In our own context, our reality, with the truth really impacting the knowledge the society truly needs, then we will now begin to talk about the curriculum itself, before even going into pedagogy itself. And begin to, maybe stakeholders need to come together and redesign something for the Nigerian education system. British is sorted. We're talking Nigeria now, because British will review every year. But the Nigerian curriculum is in a mess.
2004.
It's a mess. We are not innovating. And you know what? Those of us, I love platforms like this. We should be having conversations about what happens to education system in the next 100 years. So, 30 seconds, under the research aspect, we need to do more research. From 1959 to 79, 20 years educational plan, Ashby Commission, what became of it? 79 to 1999, what became of it? Another 20 years, you get it? And from 1999, when they gave us the basic education, to 2019, another 20 years gone. What had become of those kids born in 99 and graduated in 2019? Now President Buhari has given us another one, 2020 to God knows when, And we should be talking about what happens in the next 20, 40, 60 years. And so I agree. We need to do more research. Then we should have a platform where this research are available to other teachers. And we can talk at the administration level, and we can equally talk at the classroom level. So I would love if at some point we also bring the dynamics into it. How does this examination malpractice affect the quality of teaching?
Teaching
And
learning.
And learning. And how do we motivate teachers? You know, how do we prepare something that will go beyond their secondary experience? I have kids in the university, and they will make reference to one or two things we do in class, which has nothing to do with the curriculum. Absolutely nothing to do with the curriculum. You know, so once again, I think I want to thank you for the platform. I hope to get linked this earlier and join early enough. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mobola. Thank you. Oh, sorry, Mr. Poka. Thank you so much for sharing. That was so on point and so apt. And one thing that kept ringing in my head is something that I always ask myself, and I always say, at the end of the day, what is the purpose of education? Because one of the reasons that we begin to ask this, we begin to have these problems is because we don't know the purpose of education. So that's why it will take 20 years or 10 years or for a curriculum to be reviewed. Because if we know the purpose of education, if we know the reason why education is in place, then we will be able to take the right actions or the right steps towards achieving maybe a certain goal or a certain vision as well. So purpose, vision, having a mission. And I think people that are in business, they will understand that if there's no why, if you don't know your why, then at the end of the day, you would not know what you were doing. You can't take the right steps in the right direction. And also when we're looking at context, like you also spoke on context, examination malpractices, people want their students to go to the universities. People don't want to have that bad record, because that pressure on public schools to produce the best results. Oh, this student got 10 A's, or any school at all. This student got 10 A's, 5 B's. I know in my secondary school, some teachers did, even though, hope I don't have any classmates here. Let me see, nobody. Okay, they did. And it was a Christian school. Some teachers did. They actually, in the exam, they will use style, oh, do this, do that, because they want to take best teacher award at the end of the day, or you want the school to have the best results at the end of the day. So there are a whole lot of things. And like you said, I also think there's also something that I started thinking about, not that I just started, but since the beginning of the year, teachers' involvement in curriculum development or curriculum planning. And I'm glad that we are doing this, because this is something that we should do more often. And that's why we are here, actually. That's the whole purpose of this. It's a discourse. We are here to speak our minds, have conversations like this, clarify misconceptions and bring out misconceptions that need to be clarified. So thank you so much, Mr. Poka, for sharing. I really, really, really appreciate your comments. Okay, so we move to Omotola. I'm already late for work. I don't know, anytime I'm with this community, every other thing that I have to do, put on hold. So Omotola, let's have you.
You're so sweet. Like, really? Your head is full.
Oh, my
Good
Lord.
afternoon, everyone.
Thank you so much. You can go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, yeah. Like I said, I've been following through since Saturday. Yeah, and it's been a back-to-back one for me. Like I'm really grateful I am in this community, and just to add to what Mr. Baba today and Mr. Coker said, the truth is, so many times I ask myself, like now that I have grown, I've been in the classroom for a while, I ask myself, like, if we were taught the way some of us are teaching our learners, I don't know, maybe the education in Nigeria wouldn't be at this level. Like, just as we've often concluded, it is actually in a total mess. Okay, so someone called me, I think that was last week, and she was like, she wants to start up a school. And I feel this is where the error comes in from. most people are involved in education. I mean, starting up a school, not because they have a purpose, just like what we had already said.
You're muted. You muted yourself.
They see it as a retirement plan for them. That's okay. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes. You muted yourself again. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me now? So, like I
Yeah,
said, most school owners they see like starting up a school as a retirement plan. So they don't care to go for trainings, they don't care whatever the curriculum says, they don't care. All they want to do is to make money. So for that reason, whatever you say around them, like it sounds like gibberish, like what is this person saying? Please excuse me. Then another issue we have is even parents. Like parents come, they put pressure on school. So like the school where I've been working, like I can say that we're trying to a large extent. We use the Montessori approach to the core, we make use of the blended curriculum and all because of the way Nigeria curriculum is. The funny part is you would even get to the Ministry of Education to purchase this curriculum. My dear sister, it is not even available. They don't even have it. Like it's that terrible. They don't have it. And you know, parents will tell you, my child is 3 years, he or she cannot write 1 to 50, he or she cannot write. And I'm like, please, for me as a person, and with the few trainings I've had, I believe that education should be an all-round thing. And you can't say a child is educated if there is no skill acquired at the end of the day, or if the child cannot relate what he or she has learned with his or her environment. So why should a 3-year-old child write 1 to 50 when he or she can't even relate to with any quantity? I don't know if you get me, but it's that terrible. Sometimes I get angry, I get pissed. And you know, the classroom thing, bulky lesson notes and all. I used to go slide to prepare my lesson. I would have loved to share my lesson notes for this week. Like I try to look for a way to break it down. For me, I take charge of my class. Like if I know that this topic, you can imagine me treating a topic in history. Okay,
I'm muted.
sorry about that. Last week we talked about the struggle for independence, that those leaders that fought for the independence of Nigeria and all. And you can imagine, like the scheme requires that we talk about all of them in 40 minutes.
We can't hear you again, Omotola. Oh my gosh. Okay.
That we 8 years old children, like talking about almost about 6 years.
Omotola, we can barely hear you. Can barely hear you. You're sounding far and then you're cracking up as well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can continue speaking. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so we'll have Omotola. We'll have Omotola come back. Blessing, over to you. You can unmute to speak.
Okay, can you hear me?
Perfect. We are in the same environment, so don't worry.
Okay, I'm happy that I'm actually on this platform. I just want to just add one or two regarding planning. As teachers, I believe that we need to just take charge of our classroom, irrespective of the fact that there are certain, when it comes to writing our lesson notes and lesson plan, irrespective of the fact that there are actually ways we are asked to write the lesson plan, because you're the one that's going to be in the classroom. So to me personally, I remember when I was teaching, I'll write it in a way that I'll write it the way they want. But while I'm teaching, right, my slides, I'll actually use different methods to engage my learners well. Because there's one thing the school wants, and then you are the one teaching, and you know that you're a different teacher, you're an innovative person. You want to ensure that you actively engage your learners in class. So you personalize your slide in a way to incorporate different learning styles so that to engage every student. Also, that's regarding planning and lesson plan. Also, I also struggle with writing the lesson plans or the struggle because of certain things. I'm like, this thing is not needed. They don't really need it. What we need to focus on more, the school is not paying attention to it because of a whole lot of activities in school, coupled with different things, so many expectations from parents, from the school. At the end of the day, you are boiling down to just ensuring that you just do what school. But I think what actually helped me was me defining what I really want from my students at the end of the day. That was actually made me to understand, okay, these are just the noise, but this is my expectation. Okay, when they leave this class, what are the growths, what are the things I really want to see in them? So those were my driving force, irrespective of what various expectations that are expected of me. And then when it comes to curriculum, yeah, the curriculum, I think that teachers are basically not part of people that develop the curriculum. So there's a whole lot of things that need to be scrapped, a whole lot of innovation needs to be done, a whole lot of things needs to be, I really don't know how teachers need to step up their game to voice out more on them being involved in developing the curriculum, because they are the frontier, that the one actually meeting the needs of the learners, right? So teachers' voice needs to be heard more, and that is why platform like this needs to be more vocal, right?
Mm.
In doing, just because the curriculum, it's a whole lot of things needs to be changed, because I think we're in the 21st century, and the children that we're working with, that the curriculum does not work with them, basically. For me, the curriculum, that's not what they're supposed to be working with, because it's a whole lot of things, like things are evolving, technology is evolving. Same thing, the curriculum as well needs to evolve. That's just my own contribution to this.
Thank you so much. Yes, the curriculum has to evolve as well. And I'm sorry, Omotala, we may not be able to take it because of time. And so you can just, the conversation goes on in the community. So that's the whole point. So we continue speaking. So whatever thoughts that come to your mind and you can't say here, just drop it in the community. I'll also drop the areas of discourse there so that we can continue the conversation. And Nehemiah says that educational examination malpractice is a great deadly virus in the education system. I tell people, if I was not from a home I did not encourage it, I would have been involved. He would have been involved as well. Why should I study or do assignment that at the end of the day, the school asks me to get good grades? Yes. So it's a mentality that some students already have, that at the end of the day, it's just to pay and I will get grades and I will enter the university. So even to enter the university, you can still pay your way into uni. So what's the whole point? And so I think it all boils down to the purpose of education as well. Involvement of teachers we've spoken on the involvement of teachers in curriculum development. We've spoken on educational research, having educational research. There's another part I want us to talk about, but maybe we can drop that in the communities. Education financing. Education financing. I was opportune to see the budget breakdown and reports for the education sector from different universities and different schools, and I was like, wow, what a money. I was seeing billions going to universities, and I'm like, is this the same schools that are on strike now that they are giving billions to? I'll be millions too. I'm not understanding what's going on. And so we can begin to look at educational financing. And then another thing I would like us to look at is education supposed to prepare students for the future of work? Should that be the core purpose of education? Because it's something that many people have been saying, oh, prepare your students for the future of work. Prepare your students for the place of work. Prepare your students for the future of work. Like whatever you're doing, ensure that at the end of the day, your students are able to find a place in the workforce at the end of the day. So should that be the focus? Should that now be the focus of the education sector? Because if someone makes sense, I mean, at the end of the day, we want our students to work and make money so that the economy will be boosted, right? But should that even be one of the purposes of education at the end of the day? So something that I want us to think about as we go on in the discourse. Do we have any final contributions? Any final contributions from someone new that wants to speak? Someone new that wants to speak? Any new contributions? Now, you can drop that in the chat. But the final question for me will be, what are those things that you want to see the Fresh Look Africa community begin to do? So we've established that this discourse needs to happen more often. We need to have these conversations and we need to be more vocal about it. Right? Please, in case you have any RDCs, if someone in any RDC, maybe one of their top people, if you have their phone numbers, please, or emails, please give it to me. Because sometimes these people, you will never find them on social media, LinkedIn, or their emails online. You will just not find them. So in case you have their contact by chance, but I'll look for how to get it and see, just have conversations around these areas. So, but how can we begin to do better for teachers in this Fresh Look Africa community so that we are not just there? Because I know as much as possible from the team, we like send opportunities, send any resources that you need and all of those things, host community trainings. Since the beginning of the year, we hosted community trainings every month. And this would have been a community training, but we just wanted to have a discourse because it's World Teachers Day already. Let's have a conference like this. We will invite major stakeholders in sector and then pull them in a panel as we question them. So the Fresh Look Africa Summit is here. It's coming up in January 23rd to 25th, 2023. The link will be uploaded this week for registration. So registration starts this week. Now we are going to have, so it's taking a different turn. So that's why you're hearing summit, not a conference. So it's taking a different turn. We're going to have different tracks where people can choose different sessions. We're going to have a main stage panel where you can throw your questions at people, main stakeholders in the education sector, and even people from different sectors. We are also going to have other places where teachers can actually apply to host their sessions, and then people can attend their sessions. When are you to start what course are you talking about, please? Please, I hope it's not TSTA you're talking about. If it's TSTA, this is not TSTA, go and drop it in the Telegram group. Thank you. So what are these things? Mr. Bawson, I said a conference. We already have our annual conferences, so yes. We already have our annual conferences, so yes, we already have that, and it's coming up January 23rd to 25th, 2023. Registration link is going to drop this week. The least that you can do for us is to share that link. I want to see over 1,000 registration. In fact, 2,000 registrations already. So let's have that. So what else would you like to see in the community? More discourses, conferences, what else? We already have trainings that is covered. What else? What else to keep the community active and sustain, just keep it sustained? I'm waiting, guys. I just have 4 minutes so that I can go to work. 4 minutes. What are those other things? Someone said they would like to see my face more often. Is that part of it? But I put my face out every month. Like every month, there's nobody that does. If you come on Zoom, you. Oh my God. What else would you like to see? Nobody is speaking. Okay. What of teacher status English remunerations? Yes, remunerations, welfareism, medical health. Those are conversations we need to start having. Thank you for saying that. So please take notes. Mr. Babatunde, please help me just copy what he has said. Those are conversations we need to start having. I remember I said it. Oh, sorry, it's in the video that will drop tomorrow where we begin to talk about teachers' mental health and healthcare, talking about all of these things. In a school, how can a teacher not have HMOs and HMO? And you say you're an organization, your teachers don't have access to healthcare. All right. Face it is every time. Somebody is threatening me in the chat. He's sending me a private message and he's threatening me. He's threatening me. Okay. So yes, we'll begin to talk about teacher status, their remunerations, welfareism, and all of those things. Please help me take note of that. What else would we like to see? Mr. Okoyemi Ogunyomi is the one that is threatening me in the chats. Please, TSTA students, stand for me. Stand for me. It's Mr. Okweyemi. It's not Mr. Babatunde. This time is Mr. Okweyemi. Behavioral modification. Yes. So behavioral modification for students is something that we talk about actually in the Skill Teacher Academy. It's a module on its own, classroom and behavioral management. Yes, for students. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about. Sorry, I've denied you this time around. I'm with Uncle Kwe. Okay, yes, behavioral management. Mr. Kwem is actually the one that takes that module, so that's why he's dancing. Okay, so we have to run. But if you have any suggestions, please drop them in the community. If you're not part of our community yet, you can join us on bit.ly/TFLA community. Oh my God, Mr. Okweyemi, please stop threatening me. Uncle Okwe, please stop threatening me. Yeah, so that's the link to join the community if you're not there yet. I'm sorry, these are the Skill Teacher Academy students are misbehaving in the chat. Please do not mind them. This is how we usually behave. Yes. Adora with a capital A. Thank you. My name is a noun. Okay, so we have this conversation. Mr. Babatunde, also please help me drop the areas of discourse in the community as well. Drop the areas of discourse and tell people what to do, because I have to run to work. I need to be at work because now I have to work like into the evening till like 6. So yes, please help me drop that. What have I said? So many schools deal with policies that restrict them from imposing certain disciplinary measures. And today the students take advantage of this to frustrate the teaching and learning process. Looking forward to more engagement. Most definitely. Thank you. So that one falls under policies guiding that guides the teaching profession. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. Babatunde is already dropping it. Thank you. Any other comments from YouTube? None. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of this discourse. The conversation continues, and I see a message on Kope, well noted. The conversation continues in the community. These are things that we need to continue to talk about. And then I feel like in 2023, we just, that's the word. That's the word. So we just do that, okay? And okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I've dropped the community link already, Ms. Mukaram. That's the community link, bit.ly/TFLA community. That's where you join. Once you fill the form, it will show you the WhatsApp link. Mr. Babatunde, do this thing well. You raised that. Thank you. I didn't need to tell. See, I have excellent teachers around me. They know what to do. Thank you, everyone. Amazing. I totally had a great time and I enjoyed having these conversations, and these are deep conversations that we need to continue to have. Have a great day, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I will see you in the community.